The medical bay on Vesta 9 mining colony was small but clean. Dr. Hana Kim liked it that way. She moved between supply cabinets, counting medicine packs and checking equipment. The colony sat on a large asteroid, far from Earth, but rich in rare metals. It was a hard place where only the tough survived. "Dr. Kim, supply shuttle is arriving in 30 minutes, said the computer voice. "Thank you," Hana replied, making a note on her tablet. At 32, Hana had already earned respect across the colony. She was not very tall, with short black hair that she kept neat even in this dusty place. Her steady hands and calm mind made her perfect for emergency medicine. Before coming to Vesta 9, she had worked in busy hospitals on Earth, but the chaos of the mining colony suited her better. Here, her skills saved lives every day. The colony housed 300 miners, 50 support staff, and 20 security guards. Among these guards was Jay Park, known to everyone as Wolfeater. No one used his real name anymore. Jay earned his nickname 3 years ago when lupine raiders attacked an outpost. Lupines were tall, wolf-like aliens who worked as mercenaries and pirates. When Jay's gun jammed, he killed 3 lupines with just his combat knife. The story spread quickly and the name stuck. Hana had seen Jay many times but rarely spoke to him. He stood taller than most men, with broad shoulders and a face that never seemed to smile. A long scar ran from his left eye to his jaw. He said little and kept to himself, but his dark eyes missed nothing. The alarm blared suddenly, cutting through the quiet of the medical bay. Warning. Unidentified ships approaching. All personnel to emergency stations. Hana moved quickly, pulling out trauma kits and activating the surgery table. Colony attacks were rare but deadly. She had treated the survivors before and knew what to expect. "Computer, prepare blood supplies and activate all medical drones," she ordered. The first explosions rocked the colony 20 minutes later. Dust fell from the ceiling as the lights flickered. Hana braced herself against a cabinet, waiting for the shaking to stop. "Dr. Kim, we have incoming wounded," her assistant Bay called from the doorway. Security engaged the raiders at the north airlock. Soon the wounded arrived. Burns, cuts, broken bones. Hana worked quickly, moving from patient to patient. Her hands remained steady even as another explosion shook the colony. "More coming," a miner yelled, helping a limping guard through the door. Then they brought in Jay Park. 2 security guards carried him, blood soaking his uniform. His face was gray with pain, but he made no sound. "Put him here," Hana directed, pointing to the main surgery table. "What happened?" "Some new weapon," one guard explained. "Fired something that burrowed into his chest. He killed 6 raiders before going down." Hana cut away Jay's uniform, revealing a small dark hole just below his right collarbone. Blood pulsed from the wound with each heartbeat. "Scanner," she called, and a medical drone moved forward, passing a beam of light over Jay's chest. The image appeared on the screen above the table. "That's not good," Bay whispered. The scan showed a small metal object moving slowly through Jay's tissue, heading toward his heart. It wasn't a normal bullet, but something designed to kill slowly and painfully. "It's a burrower," said the colony security chief, who had entered the medical bay. "Nasty tech, designed to be untreatable in the field. The longer it stays in, the deeper it goes." "Has anyone removed one before?" Hana asked, studying the scan. "Not that I know of," the chief replied. "Most people die before they reach medical help." Hana looked down at Jay. His eyes were open, watching her. Most men would be screaming in pain, but he remained silent, his breathing shallow. "I need to remove it now," Hana decided. "Bay, prepare for surgery. Everyone else out." "Doctor," the security chief hesitated. "Maybe we should focus on the others. The chances of success are—" "I don't leave anyone to die if I can help them," Hana cut him off. "Please leave my medical bay." As the others filed out, Hana leaned close to Jay. "I'm going to try to get that thing out of you," she told him. "It won't be easy, and I can't promise success." For the first time Jay spoke, his voice a rough whisper. "If I die, I die. But I trust your hands, doctor." Hana nodded and began her work. First, she gave him medicine for the pain, though not enough to put him to sleep. She needed him awake. I have to track its movement, she explained. Tell me if you feel it moving. The surgery was unlike any Hana had performed before. The small metal object kept changing position, sensing when she got close. It had been designed to evade medical removal. It's moving left, Jay said through gritted teeth, sweat beading on his forehead. Hana adjusted her approach using the scanner to track the deadly bullet. An hour passed, then 2. The colony's battle continued outside, but in the medical bay a different fight raged. It's near my heart now, Jay said quietly. His voice remained calm, but Hana saw fear in his eyes for the first time. I need to try something else, Hana said, reaching for a different tool. This might hurt. She used a small electromagnetic device, hoping to disrupt whatever guidance system the bullet used. The scanner showed the bullet slowing its movement. Now, Hana whispered to herself, moving with precise skill. Her forceps touched metal, and with a steady hand she extracted the bullet, a small spiky object that still pulsed with a faint light. Got it, she said, dropping it into a containment box. Bay, close the wound while I check the scan. The scanner showed no metal fragments remaining. Jay's heart rate steadied. You'll live, Wolfeater, Hana told him, allowing herself a small smile. Jay's eyes locked with hers. You pulled death from my body, he said. Few could have done that. 3 days later, Hana checked on Jay in the recovery room. The colony was repairing the damage from the raid, and the medical bay had finally quieted. How's the pain today? She asked, checking his bandages. Manageable, he replied, sitting up straighter than he should have been able to. Hana had noticed something strange. Since the surgery, Jay watched her constantly. Not in a threatening way, but with an intensity that made her curious. And colony, staff reported that the normally silent security guard had asked questions about her background, her routines. You should rest more, she told him. That wound was serious. Jay nodded but said nothing. As she turned to leave, he spoke. Dr. Kim, he called. When she looked back, he added, Thank you. The words were simple, but something in his voice suggested they carried weight. Hana didn't know about the life debt code Jay lived by, or that, in his mind, a bond had formed between them, one that would soon be tested. Just doing my job, she replied with a smile. Neither of them knew that 3 months later, that bond would lead Jay to follow Hana into the deadliest place in the solar system, a place called Hell's Ring. 3 months passed on Vesta 9 mining colony. The damage from the raider attack had been repaired, and life returned to its normal rhythm. Dr. Hana Kim's days filled with treating mining injuries, space sickness, and the occasional fight between workers. J. Park, now fully recovered, had returned to his security duties. But something had changed. The man they called Wolfeater still spoke little, but his eyes followed Hana whenever she was near. He appeared outside the medical bay at odd hours, checking the security systems or patrolling nearby corridors. He's like a shadow, Bay said, one day as they organized supplies. I see him watching the medical bay entrance when you're working late. He's just doing his job, Hana replied, though she had noticed it too. One evening, as Hana finished treating a miner with a crushed finger, she found Jay waiting outside. Dr. Kim, he said with a small nod. Is everything okay, Jay? She asked. She was one of the few who used his real name. Yes. He paused, seeming to search for words. The north section has new security cameras, better protection for the medical bay now. Thank you, Hana said, realizing this was his way of showing concern. The colony's communication system buzzed to life before he could respond. Attention, all personnel. Emergency transmission from Ganymede Research Station. Medical emergency. Reported. All medical staff report to the command center. Hana hurried to the command center, Jay following without invitation. Inside, Colony Director Jin looked grave as he played the transmission. A tired-looking woman appeared on the screen. This is Dr. Lee at Ganymede Research Station. We have an outbreak of an unknown illness. 7 researchers are infected. Symptoms include high fever, skin lesions, and respiratory distress. Our medical officer is among the infected. We need help immediately. Director Jin turned to the small group of medical staff. The research station is 4 days away by fast transport. They're involved in important work for Earth government. We need to send medical help. What about the danger? Asked the head of security. Ganymede orbit isn't safe these days. The Void Serpents have been raiding ships in that sector. The Earth government is sending a military escort, Director, Jin replied. But they won't arrive for 7 days. The research station may not have that long. I'll go, Hana said, stepping forward. I have experience with unusual infections from my Earth hospital days. It's too dangerous, Jay spoke suddenly, surprising everyone. He rarely offered opinions in meetings. Director Jin looked between them. Dr. Kim is our best option. The transport leaves tomorrow morning. We'll equip it with extra shields and weapons, but it's still a medical mission, not a combat one. After the meeting, Jay followed Hana to the medical bay as she gathered supplies. You okay? Shouldn't go, he said, his voice low and serious. Hana continued packing medical equipment. People are dying, Jay. They need help. The Void Serpents are not like other raiders, he insisted. They don't just steal, they take people too. Hana stopped and faced him. How do you know so much about them? Jay's face darkened. I've fought many enemies. Know your opponent's ways or die. I'll be careful, she promised. Besides, my transport is small and fast. We'll avoid the main shipping lanes. Jay looked like he wanted to say more, but finally just nodded. I will check your transport's weapons myself. The next morning, Hana's small medical team boarded the transport. 3 people, herself, Bae, and a medical technician named Day. As the airlock closed, Hana saw Jay watching from the launch control room, his face set in grim lines. The journey started smoothly. The transport slipped away from Vesta 9, setting course for Jupiter's moon Ganymede. The first day passed quietly as they prepared medical supplies and reviewed information about the sick researchers. On the second day, alarms blared through the ship. 3 vessels approaching, the ship's computer announced. Unknown identification. Day rushed to the command console. They're not responding to hails. They're matching our course and speed. Pirates? Bae asked, fear in her voice. Run, Hana ordered. Maximum speed toward the Jupiter patrol route. The transport accelerated, but the pursuing ships were faster. Within an hour, they had surrounded the medical transport. They're going to board us, Day said, checking the weapons systems. We can't fight 3 ships. The largest vessel moved alongside them. A harsh voice came through the communication system. Medical transport. This is Captain Rock of the Void Serpents. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resist and we space you all. Hana knew they had no choice. Fighting would mean certain death. Power down engines, she ordered. Hide the most valuable medical supplies. Maybe they'll just take our equipment and leave. But the Void Serpents wanted more than equipment. 6 pirates boarded their ship, armed with plasma rifles and wearing mismatched armor covered in snake symbols. Their leader was a tall woman with a cybernetic eye that glowed red. Check their supplies, she ordered her men, and scan them. One pirate ran a device over each crew member, stopping when he reached Hana. This one, Captain Rock, he said. Her profile matches what we're looking for, medical doctor with a xenobiology training. The captain smiled coldly. Perfect. Bring her. Kill the others. No, Hana shouted, struggling as 2 pirates grabbed her arms. They're just assistants. They know nothing, please. Captain Rock considered for a moment. Fine. Lock them in the cargo hold. By the time anyone finds them, we'll be long gone. She turned to Hana. You're coming with us, Doctor. Someone will pay well for your skills. Where are you taking me? Hana demanded as they dragged her toward their ship. To Hell's Ring, the captain laughed. The radiation belt around Jupiter. Our base is there, hidden where no one can find it. Your new employer is very interested in your surgical talents. Hana fought against her captors, but it was useless. They pulled her through the airlock into their ship. The last thing she saw was her transport falling away as the pirate ship accelerated toward Jupiter. Back on Vesta 9, 3 days later, an emergency transmission reached the colony. Director Jin immediately called Jay to the command center. "It's bad news," he said, playing the distress message. Bay's terrified face appeared on the screen. "Vesta 9, this is medical transport. We were attacked by void serpents. They've taken Dr. Kim. They left us drifting but alive. They said they're taking her to Hell's Ring, to their base." Jay's face showed no emotion, but his hands tightened into fists. "We'll alert Earth military forces," Director Jin said, "but they won't send ships into Hell's Ring. It's a death trap of radiation and asteroids. No one goes in there." "I will," Jay said quietly. Director Jin shook his head. "That's suicide, Park. The void serpents have a fortress in there. No one who has gone after them has ever returned." "Prepare the fastest interceptor," Jay said, ignoring the director's words. "I need weapons and radiation shielding." Captain Tay, the head of security, stepped forward. "You can't just take colony equipment for a personal mission. And your duty is here." Jay turned to face him, his eyes cold. "She pulled death from my body. I will pull her from hell. My duty is clear." "You'll die in there," Captain Tay warned. "Maybe," Jay replied, already walking toward the door. "But she will not die alone." That night, against direct orders, Jay took the colony's fastest interceptor. He loaded it with weapons from his personal collection and extra radiation shielding. As the small ship launched into space, Colony Director Jin watched from the command center. "He's really going into Hell's Ring for her," he said in disbelief. Captain Tay stood beside him. "The Wolfeater follows his own code. She saved his life. Now he will try to save hers, or die trying." The interceptor disappeared into the darkness of space, heading toward the deadly radiation belt of Jupiter where no sane person would ever go willingly. The small interceptor ship cut through space, heading toward Jupiter. Inside, Jay Park sat alone at the controls. His face showed no emotion, but his mind worked quickly. Finding someone in Hell's Ring would not be easy. The radiation belt around Jupiter was filled with deadly radiation, spinning rocks, and hidden dangers. The perfect place for pirates to hide. "Computer, show me all known information about the void serpents," Jay commanded. The screen filled with data. The void serpents were one of the most feared pirate groups in the solar system. They started as simple raiders but had grown into something worse. Now they dealt in stolen technology, weapons, and even people. Jay had fought many enemies in his life, but he knew the void serpents were different. They were smart and well organized. Their leader was someone known only as Min. No one knew much about her except that she had once been a military scientist before turning to crime. To find their base, Jay needed help. He set course for Europa, another moon of Jupiter. A small trading post there was run by an old contact. As Jay's ship approached Europa, he received a warning message. "Unidentified ship. This is Europa Security. Identify yourself." "This is Trader. Son delivering supplies," Jay lied, using a code name his contact would recognize. After landing at the trading post, Jay made his way through narrow, dirty corridors. The air smelled of cheap food and fuel. He kept his hand near his weapon as he walked. This place was filled with criminals and desperate people. At the end of a dark hallway, Jay knocked on a metal door. It opened to reveal a small office filled with screens and strange devices. A man with cybernetic eyes looked up. "Wolfeater," he said with surprise. "I heard you worked for mining colonies now." "I need information, Gil," Jay said, "about the void serpents." Gil's mechanical eyes widened. "You hunting them? That's suicide. They took someone. A doctor. I need to find their base in Hell's Ring." Gil whistled. "Bad place to go looking for anyone, but I might know someone who delivers supplies to them. For enough money, he talks." 3 hours later, Jay had what he needed. The void serpents had a massive station hidden in the radiation belt, an old warship they had converted into a base. They called it the Nest. It moved regularly to avoid detection but followed certain patterns. "One more thing," Gil said as Jay prepared to leave. "The void serpents have been working on something big, some kind of biological research. They've been collecting doctors and scientists. Your friend might be part of that. Jay nodded. How do I get to the nest without being detected? They get supply deliveries every 10 days, Gil explained, handing Jay a data chip. This has the codes for the next supply ship. Codes change after each delivery. You could use these to get close, but getting inside and back out again? He shook his head. No one has ever done that. Meanwhile, Hana had been on the Void Serpent station for 5 days. They kept her in a small room near their medical bay. The room had a bed, a sink, and little else. They brought her food twice a day and took her to work in their medical facility under guard. The medical bay was large and surprisingly well equipped. But what Hana saw there filled her with horror. The pirates were conducting experiments on alien tissue samples. Some tanks even held living specimens, small creatures that watched her with frightened eyes. You will assist Dr. Wren, a guard told her on the first day, pointing to a thin man with nervous hands. Dr. Wren spoke quietly when the guards weren't listening. They forced me to work here too. 6 months now. They want us to create weapons from alien biology, weapons that target specific species. That's horrible, Hana whispered. Why? Some clients will pay anything for a weapon that can kill their enemies while leaving their own people untouched, he explained. The woman in charge, Min, she has big plans. Each day, Hana was forced to treat injured pirates and assist with the research. She worked slowly, making small mistakes that wouldn't be noticed but would set back the research. At night, she lay awake planning her escape, though she knew her chances were slim. On her 6th day, a tall woman with cold eyes came to observe their work. The guards stood straighter when she entered. Commander Min, Dr. Wren whispered to Hana, the leader. Min watched them work for a while before approaching Hana. Dr. Kim, she said, I hope you're finding your new position acceptable. You kidnapped me and are forcing me to help create illegal weapons, Hana replied. No, I don't find that acceptable. Min smiled slightly. Brave. I like that. But understand this. Your cooperation determines how comfortable your stay will be. Fight me, and things become very unpleasant. Why me? Hana asked. There are other doctors. Your file showed exceptional talent in emergency surgery and xenobiology. Perfect combination for our work. Min looked at the samples Hana had been processing. You're working too slowly. Perhaps you need motivation. The next day, guards brought in an injured prisoner, a young technician who had been caught trying to send a message outside the station. Fix him, Min ordered Hana. But if you help him escape or pass messages, the punishment will be severe. Hana treated the technician's wounds. As she worked, he whispered, There's talk among the guards. Someone is coming for one of the doctors. A man they fear. Hana's heart jumped, but she kept her face calm. Could it be Jay? No, that was impossible. No one could find this place, let alone get inside. 2 days later, Jay's ship approached the outer edges of Hell's Ring. He had disguised his interceptor to look like a supply vessel and loaded it with crates of basic supplies. The radiation, shielding strained against the intense energy surrounding Jupiter. Computer, activate supply vessel identification codes, Jay ordered. His ship transmitted the codes Gil had given him. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then a response came through. Supply vessel, you are early. Proceed to coordinates 227-89440 for inspection before docking. Jay guided his ship toward the coordinates. As he passed through a thick cloud of space dust, he caught his first glimpse of the nest. It was massive, an old warship almost half a kilometer long, surrounded by smaller vessels. Huge metal extensions had been added to its sides, creating what looked like a giant metal spider floating in space. A small inspection ship approached. Prepare for boarding and inspection, a voice commanded. 2 armed pirates entered Jay's ship. They checked his cargo and scanned the vessel. You're not our regular supplier, one said suspiciously. Pax is sick, Jay replied, using the name Gil had given him. I'm filling in. The pirate raised his scanner toward Jay's face. I should check your identity against our... He never finished the sentence. Jay moved with lightning speed, disabling both pirates before they could raise the alarm. He tied them up and hid them in a storage compartment. Now for the hard part, Jay muttered. He guided his ship toward the docking area of the nest. As he approached, he saw how heavily defended the station was. Gun turrets, shield generators, and sensor arrays covered its surface. Breaking out would be even harder than breaking in. His ship docked, and Jay prepared to leave. He wore a stolen pirate uniform and carried a small bag of tools that were actually disguised weapons. As he stepped onto the nest, he took a deep breath. Somewhere in this massive station was Hana, and he would find her, no matter what it took. Inside the station, alarms suddenly blared. Hana looked up from her work as guards rushed past the medical bay. "What's happening?" she asked Dr. Wren. "Security alert at Docking Bay 3, he replied, checking a nearby screen. "Something about an incoming supply ship." Hana tried to hide her hope. Could someone have come for her after all? On the other side of the station, Jay moved quickly through maintenance tunnels, avoiding the main corridors. His years as a security specialist helped him bypass alarm systems and stay hidden, but he knew time was against him. Soon, they would discover the missing inspection team. "I'm coming, Doctor," he whispered as he moved deeper into hell. The alarm bells on the nest continued to ring. Pirates ran through the corridors, weapons ready. Commander Min stood in the control center, watching security screens with narrowed eyes. "What do you mean, the inspection team is not responding?" she demanded. "They boarded the supply ship but never reported back," a nervous officer explained. "The ship docked anyway." Min tapped her fingers on the console. "Check the ship, and send extra guards to all important areas, especially the research section." In the medical bay, Hana noticed the increased security. 4 armed guards now stood at the entrance, watching everyone carefully. "Something big is happening," Dr. Wren whispered as they worked. "I have not seen this much security since I arrived." Hana nodded slightly, trying not to show her hope. She continued working on the blood samples Min had ordered her to analyze, but her mind was elsewhere. If someone had come for her, she needed to be ready. Deep in the maintenance tunnels of the station, Jay moved like a shadow. His years of security work made him good at avoiding detection. He found a computer access point and connected a small device to it. "Find location of medical facilities," he whispered to the device. It was a special tool he had used in his military days, designed to hack simple systems. The small screen showed a map of the station. The medical bay was 3 levels up in the center section. Getting there would not be easy. The main corridors were filled with pirates, and security cameras watched every corner. Jay checked his weapons. He had a stun pistol, a combat knife, and 3 small explosive devices. Not enough for a direct fight, but he was not planning to fight his way through. Stealth was his only chance. As he climbed through the maintenance shafts toward the upper levels, the station rocked suddenly. Warning lights flashed red. "Attention all personnel," a voice announced over the speakers. "Asteroid impact on level 2. Repair teams to section 7. Jay smiled slightly. The dangerous environment of Hell's Ring had just given him a distraction. He moved faster as pirates rushed to deal with the damage. In the medical bay, the lights flickered from the impact. 2 of the guards left to help with repairs, leaving only 2 watching the doctors. "This could be our chance," Hana whispered to Dr. Wren. "If we could create a distraction." Dr. Wren looked terrified. "What kind of distraction?" Hana glanced around the lab. Her eyes stopped on a cabinet marked with hazard symbols. Inside were chemicals used in their research. "Those compounds," she said quietly. "What happens if we mix the blue liquid with the yellow powder?" "It creates a strong gas," Dr. Wren replied. "Not deadly, but it causes dizziness and confusion. We use it in small amounts to sedate the test subjects." "Perfect," Hana said. "When I give the signal, knock that cabinet over." Before Dr. Wren could answer, the doors to the medical bay slid open. Commander Min entered, followed by more guards. "Dr. Kim," she said coldly. "I need to speak with you." Hana's heart sank as she followed Min to a small office at the back of the medical bay. "We have an intruder on the station," Min said once they were alone. "An interesting coincidence." "I know nothing about any intruder," Hana replied calmly. Min studied her face. Perhaps, but someone has gone to great trouble to infiltrate my station. They disabled an inspection team and avoided all security checks. That shows skill and determination. Why are you telling me this? Hana asked. Min smiled thinly. Because I think they came for you, and that makes you useful in a new way. She pressed a button on her desk. Attention all personnel. We will execute the prisoner in Medical Bay 3 in 1 hour. Any intruder who wishes to save Dr. Kim should surrender immediately. Hana felt cold fear spread through her body. You're using me as bait. Yes, Min agreed, and it will work. People who care about others are predictable. Their feelings make them weak. Meanwhile, Jay had reached the level of the medical bay when he heard the announcement. His face hardened, but he did not change his plan. Instead, he moved more carefully, checking each turn for guards. He found a maintenance panel near the medical section and looked through it. The corridor outside the medical bay was now filled with armed pirates, at least 10 of them, all alert and watching. Too many for a direct approach, he muttered. Jay retreated into the maintenance shaft, thinking quickly. He needed a bigger distraction than a simple asteroid impact. His eyes fell on the power conduits running along the tunnel walls. Computer, how long can life support run on emergency power? He asked his small device. 4 hours at current population levels. It replied. And security systems? Primary security systems will shut down during power transfer. Backup systems activate after 30 seconds. Jay nodded to himself. He placed his 3 explosive devices on the main power junction, setting them to detonate in 5 minutes. Then he moved to a position closer to the medical bay and waited. In the medical bay, Hana had been brought to a small room with a clear glass wall facing the main laboratory. All the other doctors and workers could see her inside, guarded by 2 armed pirates. Min stood nearby, watching the time. 45 minutes left, she announced loudly. I wonder if your rescuer will show up in time, Dr. Kim. Hana said nothing. She looked around the room, searching for anything she could use. There was nothing but medical equipment bolted to the tables. The minutes ticked by slowly. 30 minutes left, then 20. Hana began to lose hope. Suddenly, the entire station went dark. Emergency lights came on, casting everything in dim red. Light, power failure in Section 3, someone shouted. Stay at your posts, Min ordered the guards. This is exactly what the intruder wants. In the darkness, no one noticed a ceiling panel move slightly. Jay looked down at the chaos below. The guards were nervous, pointing their weapons at shadows. Min stood near Hana, her hand on her own weapon. Jay knew he had only seconds before the backup security systems activated. He dropped silently into the darkened lab behind a large storage cabinet. Dr. Wren was the first to notice him. His eyes widened, but Jay put a finger to his lips. The doctor gave a tiny nod and then, without warning, shoved the chemical cabinet over. Glass shattered as containers broke. Colored liquids mixed on the floor, creating a thick cloud of gas that rose quickly. The guards began coughing and trying to cover their faces. What is happening? Min demanded, drawing her weapon. In the confusion, Jay moved. He took down 2 guards before anyone realized what was happening. When the emergency lights flickered, he seemed to appear and disappear like a ghost. Min fired her weapon toward a moving shadow but hit nothing. Another guard fell, then another. Seal the doors, Min shouted, backing toward the room where Hana was held. Too late. The doors to the small room slid open, and the guards inside collapsed as Jay's stun pistol found its targets. Min turned, raising her weapon toward Hana. Stop or I shoot her. The room went silent. The gas was clearing slowly, and in the dim, red light Min could see bodies on the floor. Her guards were down but not dead. The other doctors cowered under tables. Show yourself, Min commanded. A shadow moved near the doorway. Lower your weapon. Jay's voice came from the darkness. Min laughed. You think I fear you? I have fought in wars you cannot imagine. So have I. Jay replied calmly. Min fired her weapon at the sound of his voice, but hit only the wall. In that moment of distraction, Hana grabbed a medical tray and swung it at Min's head. The commander staggered but kept her footing. You will die for that, Min snarled, turning back to Hana. A shadow moved behind her. Min spun around, but it was too late. Jay struck with practiced precision, and the commander collapsed to the floor. In the dim emergency lighting, Hana finally saw Jay clearly. He was bruised and had a cut on his cheek, but his eyes were alert and focused. "Jay," she whispered. "How did you find me?" "Time to leave, Doctor," he said simply, offering his hand. Guards could be heard in the corridor outside. The backup security systems were activating and alarms began to sound again. "We need to go now," Jay said urgently. "Wait," Hana replied. She turned to Dr. Wren and the other workers. "Come with us. You can escape too." Some looked afraid, but Dr. Wren nodded. "I will. Help others. You go ahead." Jay led Hana toward a maintenance access panel. "My ship is docked on level 1. We have to hurry before they lock down all sections." As they climbed into the maintenance shaft, Hana looked back at the medical bay one last time. They were creating terrible weapons in there, Jay. Biological weapons that target specific species. Jay paused. "How advanced is their research?" "Almost complete," she replied. "They have samples, data, everything they need." Jay's eyes narrowed. "Then we cannot just escape. We need to destroy that research." "How?" Hana asked as they moved through the narrow tunnels. "The whole station is looking for us." "I have an idea," Jay said. "But it is dangerous." "Everything about this place is dangerous," Hana replied with determination. "Tell me your plan."